To this point, I've talked about the creative and technical aspects of visual storytelling. But in today's marketplace, it's very important to remember that this discipline is in fact a business that must be run efficiently if you plan to work at it for any length of time. To keep from confusing you, let's get E&G, or electronic news gathering, out of the way first. E&G has its own budgeting and pricing process. TV stations and news organizations have a yearly budget from which they work. Because of the nature of TV news, stories are covered not so much in terms of budget, but rather in terms of relevancy to the viewing audience. In other words, E&G is not as dependent on budget as electronic field production is. As a freelancer, here's what you need to know about working in electronic news gathering. In today's market, TV stations and news organizations worldwide make extensive use of freelancers. A freelancer is a person who owns his or her own equipment and covers a specific story for a one-time fee. A freelance day in television news is usually considered to be a negotiated fee for a 10-hour day. Overtime, travel, lodging, meals, and location expenses are all negotiable and must be agreed upon before the work begins. In local news, for example, the story of a traffic accident might generate as little as $50, or as much as many thousands of dollars for an exclusive story of the traffic accident that involved the mayor and his mistress. In general, news footage is owned by the news organization that shoots, produces, or buys it from a freelancer. Most TV stations and news organizations have trading or distribution agreements with other news organizations to sell or share stories via satellite or microwave networks. There are usually no additional payments to freelancers for footage shared or redistributed by the station or news organization. To save money, news organizations will sometimes pool coverage of an event. Oftentimes, they will use freelancers to cover that shared event. So let's move on to electronic field production, EFP. Because of the bidding and budgeting process, you must have a very accurate account of what it costs you to produce the work that you do. You must also know how to price that work in order for you to make a profit. Without this knowledge, you will quickly be out of a job and out of business, regardless of how good your work actually is. It's vital for you to understand budgeting and pricing. So let's start by defining a budget. A budget is a statement in terms of a financial goal. Well, that means that before you can successfully bid a job, you must be able to list all the costs involved in producing the work, and then add in the amount of profit you hope to make on the project. A big budget project will have a couple of primary categories: above the line and below the line cost. The text lists above the line cost as the cost of story and writers, producers and staff, director and staff, and cast or talent. Below the line costs are usually considered to be camera, sound, script supervision, and a host of other travel, location, and facilities expenses. EFP work subscribes to the rule, you get what you pay for. In other words, the higher the budget, the better the overall quality of the production. So this bidding process really is key to whether you will have a successful project. Once your bid is accepted by the client, he or she will assume that the price that you quoted will in fact be the final cost of the project. As you begin your career, chances are your projects will not require such extensive budgets, but knowing what equipment you will need to do the job and how long it will take you to get the project shot and edited will serve you well in determining whether your video is a profitable venture. Pricing really depends on many factors, but most importantly, it is about what the market will bear. Do your homework. Know what the client has paid for work in the past. Know what your competition is charging for similar work. Make sure you can deliver a quality product regardless of the price you settle on. The more you know about the cost of producing your product, the better position you'll be in to produce a quality video and be profitable at the same time.